So how did we get to this moment today? Well, Becca and Court actually met officially in 2007, 10 years ago. Becca came over to Court's mom's house with her friends to hang out with Court's younger brother and a few of his friends. But even though Court was 5 years older, he made a point to introduce himself to Becca, and they talked for a little while that night. But their first official date was 6 years later.
Okay, where do I need to? I know that I think whenever he's done with her hair, I can get my hair set.
So I actually met Court in 2007, but I had known who he was long before that. We grew up in the same town, we went to the same small Christian school growing up, and went to the same church. And so the first time I saw him, I was in 3rd grade, and we went to, it was called Concord Christian School. It's a tiny school, like 30 people per grade. And he was on the basketball team, and he was 5 years older than me. But I remember seeing him at a pep rally and thinking he was the cutest boy I'd ever seen. So he really was like my schoolgirl crush. I wrote Court all over every notebook. It says, Court, today is the day you become my husband and I become your wife. I could not be more excited. I know that God had me in mind when he created you, and I'm so grateful to have found such an exceptional person to spend the rest of my life with. He said, baby girl, I know that God made you just for me and to be my lifelong companion. I can't wait to see my beautiful bride walk down the aisle. I love you so much.
So she was friends with my little brother. They had a bunch of mutual friends. And I remember walking in, I was home from college. She was probably 4 or 5 years younger than me, 5 years younger than me. And I saw her and I was like, oh my God, you know, that girl was incredible. So I remember talking to her for a little bit, knowing she was younger, but I was talking to her. We had a great conversation. And I could tell she was feeling it a little bit, I could tell.
I came home and I was just smitten, and I told my mom, oh my gosh, I met the cutest guy, he's so sweet, and we really hit it off. But again, I was 15, 16 years old and he was in college, and the timing was not right.
I'll never forget seeing her downtown for the first time in like 4 years, 3 years, and just being blown away. And she came to Knoxville, and she gave me a Snapchat of all things. And I said, yeah, let's meet up. And so we met up, and that's about all she wrote. I was done. The next day we went out on our first date, and now we're getting married.
Court and I will both say it a million times, it was all God's timing. And I mean, I always knew there was something different about Court. He's always been my person, and now I get to marry him and spend forever with him. And I couldn't be more excited.
Laura, look at what you're talking. Oh,
You got it. I know you don't want to back out. Can I back out? Can I get a photo? Like I told Brooke, I've seen you in it, but I haven't seen you today in it.
How do you do that with your eyes? You know it gets me every time. I swear I wish I could read your mind, 'cause I perfect time with me. Baby, you know that I want mine. If we get no rest till the sunrise, until you make me fall in love again as light shows your face, I can never be the same. I plan to love you all my life, until you meet your chariot.
By the power granted me as a minister of the Church of Jesus Christ and by the state of Tennessee, I now pronounce that they are husband and wife. What God has joined together, let no man separate. You may kiss your bride. May I be the very first to present to you Mr. and Mrs. Courtney.
Court Street, and that is when Rebecca finally told me about her little crush in high school. Before I knew it, Becca and I were headed to Knoxville for another spontaneous and adventurous road trip to hang out with Court. I've seen you in your strongest moments, especially with Court. You and Court have proven the inevitable. Not only have I seen you both be patient through long distances and sacrifices, but I've seen the love and compassion and the strength between you both.
Court had been, calling and telling me that he was dating Becca Davis. And I could tell that there was something special about this relationship. And he said, Dad, I need to introduce you and Barb to Becca. So we met at Bonefish Grill. And we had a wonderful, wonderful evening. And I was kidding Court. I said, now, Court, keep your nose clean. Don't screw this up. Becca looked at me and said, Mr. Courtney, you don't have to worry about that. He is being held to a much higher standard. Hey, Brian, if I was ordained that night, I would have looked at Becca and said, will you please take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband?
So just breathe. Breathe in, release, you know that's all you need. I can't describe your eyes, but when they're looking at me, my heart, it beats and I can't seem to dream. Baby, you know that I want mine. If we get no rest till the sunrise, until you make me fall in love again as light shows your face, I can never be the same. I plan to love you all my life, until you meet your chariot. Your fingers are mine as they intertwine. You're telling me words unspoken. Our fingers align as they intertwine. You You break my heart wide open. Your fingers are mine as they intertwine. You're telling me words unspoken. Our fingers align as they intertwine. You break my heart